Yesterday we learned about writing algebraic expressions with addition. Today we're going to learn about what to do with subtraction. If you remember yesterday when we talked about addition, there were certain words that told us about addition that we should add. Increased by, the sum of, more than, and plus. In subtraction, we also have other words. Decreased by, minus, difference, and less than all mean to subtract. In the future, we'll talk about multiplication and division in later videos. All right, here's some subtraction examples. In the first set of examples, you can see the word decreased by means to subtract. So the first thing we do is we put our subtraction sign down because we know that when we say decreased by, that means to subtract. So let's take a look at what that first one would mean. C, now we don't know what C is, decreased by 13. So that becomes C minus 13. Again, the C is our minuend, and our 13 becomes our subtrahend. Consequently, 13 decreased by C. So let's think about what that means. The decreased by we know means minus, so we put our minus sign down. So we're saying that the 13 is decreased by whatever C happens to be. So 13 becomes our minuend, and our C becomes our subtrahend. As we look at the second set of examples, we have the word minus, and we know that minus means a minus sign. So we go ahead and we put that down right away. We've been doing that since we were in Kira's class. So let's take a look at what that means. G minus 6. Just like it says, G becomes our minuend, 6 becomes our subtrahend. Now, it might feel a little strange to put a variable first in the minuend position because we don't know what it is, but that's okay. You'll get used to it. Let's look at the other 6 minus G. And again, we put our minus sign down first, 6 minus G, just like it says. Now, as we look at our third set, we look at the differences, and that difference we know always means to subtract. So the first thing we do is we put our minus sign down. Let's take a look at what the whole expression says. The difference between n and 8. So here we've got n as our minuend and 8 as our subtrahend. In our second sentence in this set, the difference between 8 and n. 8 becomes our minuend and n becomes our subtrahend. In our last and final example for subtraction, this is one of those ones where we kind of have to think about what it means. We have to think about what they all mean, but this one in particular when we use the words less than. If you noticed in all the other examples, it was whatever was in first position was put down, then in second position was put down for all of the first three examples. In the last example, when we use the less than, we have to think about it in a different capacity and think about what it's saying. So let's take a look at what it is saying. 14 is less than P. So P would be our minuend or our starting point. We don't know what P is, but whatever P is, it's 14 less than whatever P happens to be. The same thing with the subtraction for the next one. Less than means to subtract. So P less than 14. So whatever P happens to be, it's going to be less than 14. All right, it's time for you try it. 27 decreased by K. Go ahead and pause the video and write down what you think 27 decreased by k is, and then we'll work through it step by step. All right, as we take a look at our written expression, we can see that the word decreased by means minus, so we put our minus sign down. 27 becomes our minuend and k becomes our subtrahend, which means that 27 minus k. And if you wrote that, then you were correct. Have fun with the worksheet and send it to me as soon as you get it done so I can grade it and make sure that you're on the right track.